Today we're just talking about going all in and getting it fucking done. So, fuck it. Roll the intro. Hello and welcome back to the Fired Podcast. Let's fucking go, dude. Hello everyone and welcome back to the podcast. Very, very excited to be here on the mic, here on the video, and delivering some beautiful wisdom to you crazy cats out there. Today's episode's a different one. I wanted to talk specifically around the topic of pursuing your passion. And I think this term gets thrown around so much out there these days, and I think the problem with it is people have this like all or nothing approach with it a little bit, where it's like the only thing you're able to do, right? The only thing you're allowed to do is follow your passion. If you don't, you're a little pussy. And that's kind of some people's approach. It's like you got to fucking just go all in on your passion and definitely monetize it and definitely devote your entire life and the life of the next 10 kids that you have around building this empire. And sometimes there's a place for that, and sometimes that might be the path that you want to follow. And the other kind of, I suppose, mainstream kind of things, people are like, oh, just, whatever that thing is that you love, just you devote a bunch of your time doing that thing. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't make money and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of the other side of the fence. Just like go and make that your hobby and spend as much time as you can doing that thing. And I feel like both approaches have their ups and downs. For instance, if your whole thing is, the thing has to be the only thing that you do, and has to be the life of every single person that you have in touch with, and you have to devote like every waking second of your life just doing this one piece. I think that is a little flawed, because I don't know about you, but I have lots of different things that I'm interested in, lots of different things that I like doing. And if I only did one thing, I wouldn't have any variety in my life, and I reckon I'd get bored, I'd get too stressed, all the things. And I don't think I'd enjoy it. But secondarily to that, the other approach, it's like a little bit too wishy-washy. It's like, okay, what if you have this thing that you really like doing, but you don't get to devote a lot of time doing it because there's the job, there's the kids, there's all these other fucking things going on in your fucking life? I feel like the answer is really somewhere in between. And I do think if there's something that you really like doing, and something that fulfills you a lot and brings you a lot of joy, and you don't get a lot of that from whatever your job is or these other areas of life, then it totally makes sense to replace a bunch of the areas that aren't working and put them into one. And I do think if there's something that you're really good at and something that you enjoy doing, that you shouldn't have to do it for free, and that you should be able to get paid for it. And I think that's the really cool thing with the world that we live in. YouTube, for instance, is a great example, or Instagram and TikTok. People are getting paid just to make content and talk about the thing that they like doing and doing it. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Like, finally we have that platform where it's like, for instance, playing video games isn't necessarily something that you can get paid to do a lot. Now it is, not only just in competitions, but just playing games and having fun and interesting commentary on top of them can now make you a bunch of money. So, and a lot of people don't understand that, right? It's like, well, hold on, why would you watch someone playing the games as opposed to playing it yourself? And it's like, but hold on, think of the whole sports and entertainment industry. All of that's exactly the same, right? We don't play soccer, we watch people play soccer. Very few people, right, can play to the level that those people can play. What are those people, And so many people love watching that. And so it's very much the same kind of thing. So we exist in this age now where that's possible, finally. If your hobby or your passion is fishing or surfing, you can go and do that and make videos around that and talk about that and build a following around other people who like doing that. And just by simple nature of them wanting to watch you and get around you, you can make money doing that. And there's a whole list of ways to do that. So we live in this unique age now where whatever those things are, we can also earn an income from them. And that's something that hasn't existed for a long time. And I think that's why a lot of people don't see it as being realistic or don't see that as being a thing that's possible for them because it's not something that's existed for a long time. Whereas going out and getting a job is something that I think has existed for a long time. So it seems to be like the mainstream, the standard way of doing things. And it's not a bad way to do things by any means. But there's some wiggle room there. There's a spectrum of ways to figure out how to set that up to suit you. And it doesn't have to be one size fits all. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You can do the things that you want to do and do them in your way. So the first step to actually going after that and doing something about that is actually just making a fucking decision. And I know that sounds super simple and it's like, oh, hold on, of course I'm going to have to make the decision. And it's like, no. If you decide to actually pursue that and do that, that simple step of deciding, putting a line in the sand and saying, I'm going to go do this fucking thing, literally, just in terms of mindset and the way we know quantum physics and how the RAS system works in your brain, all of these pieces that connect together, all of that, we know just by actually making that decision is a fucking massive step in that. And not just being like, yeah, I want to do that thing, but actually being like, I'm going to go do this fucking thing. And then once you've decided that, you need to work out what it is. You need to work out why you're doing it. What's your motivation behind it? You need to work out how you're going to do it. What's the medium? What's the plan? What's the actual steps to doing that thing? Right? If it is fishing or fucking whatever the fuck it is, maybe you're going to do YouTube videos, maybe you're going to do TikTok videos, maybe you're going to do this, maybe you're going to do that. Maybe what rod are you going to use? Right? What boat are you going to use? What locations are you going to use? That's the how. The what is, what's the actual specific thing, right? The how is also how do you deliver it to people and in what way? Oh, I'm going to do it like a vlog style thing, or I'm going to do it like an educational piece, or I'm going to do it like this where I film B-roll or whatever the fuck. And the why is it that you're doing it? And I think this is something that people really fail in, especially if you're thinking about it from the point of view of it creating income for you, then it is a business. So you need to think about it like a business. And so few businesses operate with the intention of having a real big why, like a strong why behind them. The why is, oh, we want to make money and we want to do it in this way. That's sort of it. But I've seen businesses that do that and I've seen where they fail. And yet I've seen businesses that on the outset, you're like, okay, this is just a money-making thing. But then when you talk to the people, they're like, well, hold on. Sure, this is, of course, we do this because it makes money, or this is how we do it. But they have their things like, okay, well, we deliver the best quality that anyone else does in our specific field in the market. No one else gets this quality anywhere else. Or we have our standard of quality that's super high that we deliver. Or we have exceptional customer service. Or we always pride ourselves on this. Or we'll always do things this way. And we always build the best products. Whatever it is. And those are the things, if you even have just that, not even a why we exist. We don't, we exist to give people this resource or to create this thing that people don't have, to fulfill this need and to innovate and to push the edge of technology or fucking space travel or whatever the fuck it might be. Or maybe if it's just you in your fishing hobby, maybe it's you exist to teach other people about how to do that thing. Or maybe it's, teaching people how they can camp, right? And there's like maybe a steep learning curve to getting into camping, or people don't know how to do it properly, or people do it wrong or whatever. And that's maybe the purpose of that content, is to teach people how to do it in a cheap way, or how to do it in a resourceful way, or whatever the fuck. So whatever those things are, what is the why behind it? What's your big motivation behind doing it? You will find far and wide that people who have a why, things work out a whole lot better for people who have a why or know their motivation behind doing things. Massive, massive key. The next thing around that is to actually have a goal. Okay, and a lot of people think, okay, well, my goal is, I want to start this thing, or I want to do this thing, or I want to make money from this thing. And it's like, cool, that's an idea. That's a sentence. It's not a fucking goal, okay? Because goals have a few key components. You have something that's actually a metricable thing. Metricable? Is that a word? Metricon. Metricable. It's got to be measurable, right? It's got to be have a piece of it that's like, here's the pieces, right? And here's the metrics by which I I can try not to use the word metric. Here's like the 5 key things I'm going to track, and here's how they guarantee or they give me feedback into relation to what those things are. And that all can lead back to the why, right? The why is, okay, well, we want to provide the best quality fucking things, right? We want to say it's food. I want to provide the best quality food or the best quality eating experience. And so, okay, the eating experience isn't just about the quality of the food, the temperature of the food, this and that, right, which you could get by surveying people or asking the way to ask the people. And he has to catalog what the response from table 2 was, whatever. But it's also, okay, well, what's the ambience like, right? Is there music that is playing? What's the lighting like? All these other things, you know? Are they being waited on enough? Do they have the right water? Are they being attended to too frequently or not frequently enough? They're all measurable things that you can track to go, okay, here's these 5 areas that are going to give me the feedback to go, am I hitting these 5 or these 3 things that are my why, or the things that lead me back to my why or my motivation, whatever it is. Okay? And have a timeline around it. A lot of people are like, okay, I want to do this thing. And then after 2 weeks, they're like, oh, well, it's not, I haven't achieved the fucking thing. I'm not getting anywhere. And it's like, well, hold on. Are you tracking anything? Are you tracking your progress? Do you know if you're on track to get there or not? And 2, do you actually have a timeline around it where it's like, I'm going to give this thing 3 years? There's this great story about these 2 Australian guys who started a podcast, and they had a bunch of up and downs in relation to it, where they've started to build a bunch of traction, not had a lot of people interested, so on and so forth, right? It's gone backwards and forwards. However, they told themselves, I think they'd give themselves 3 years or 5 years. And then at that point, they would reset, but they committed to doing it every week or however long, right? I think they do a episode every week or 2 episodes a week or whatever it is. And they're committed to doing that for 3 years, and then they'll reassess at that point how it's going. I think they're 1 or 2 years in now, and only now, like, they're really starting to take off and get a lot of traction. And it's like, that's the fucking way to do it. Have a timeline, commit to a timeline of, this is how long I'm going to give this, and then if I want to have X amount of money, or I want to have X amount of progress, or whatever the fuck it is by this date, then you got to backtrack that and go, okay, well, by 3 months in, I need to have this, and by 3 weeks in, I need to have this. And actually set a timeline around it. If you're not setting timelines around things, if you don't have dates, if you don't have targets, if you don't have a wheel or a spectrum of targets of progress, are you just messing around? Or are you actually going to go in all in on that fucking thing and smash it? And that's the last piece, is going all in, committing and going, okay, I'm going to go all in on this. And all in doesn't mean you don't ever see your family and fucking friends again. Okay, all in doesn't mean you don't ever fucking sleep and eat ever again, and all your time is devoted to that fucking one thing. But committing and going all in means, when the hard times arise and the challenges arise, and they will in every endeavor and every part of life that you ever fucking attempt to do, that's the way fucking life works. Reality check. If you commit, you will push yourself through those hard times. And that's part of that decision-making process that I spoke about at the start. You have to draw a line in the sand and say, fucking through hell or high water, I'm going to fucking smash this fucking thing. And yes, there's going to be some hard times, and this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Build that shit in, build those challenges into your fucking timeline. And go, no matter what comes up, I'm going to commit to pushing through that. And yes, there's times where you're going to fucking fall and fail. And that's part of that pushing through process. That's what committing is. And it's exactly the same with relationships and dieting and eating, health and family and your work and making money. In every single area of life, there's challenges, and it's about committing through those things. You're going to have challenges in your relationships, my goodness. You're going to have challenges in your health and your fitness. You're going to have challenges within your family. All right? You can have challenge in all the areas. And so as if, oh, fuck, I'm tight on money today. Well, guess I'm giving up on the idea of fucking capitalism. I'm just not going to be a person who makes money because I'm struggling with money. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, I had a bad day at work, so I just quit this job. I'm never going to get a job ever again. That's not how it works. Okay? Oh, I had a hard day at the gym. I'm having a hard 3 weeks, 3 months at the gym, whatever. I'm just going to quit. If you do that, you won't see the results in that area. And funnily enough, the gym's a really good one for that, for the example, because often 3 weeks, 3 months in, you don't really even see a change. And then when you look back on photos or your metrics, right? You look back on photos, you look at the weight, you look at how you feel, your skin, you look at what your eating's like, what your calories, all these things, right? Maybe you get bloods done and look at what your iron levels like, all these other pieces, and you go, oh wow, look, I really have improved things. And I wasn't aware of them because I didn't set any fucking metrics, or I didn't, I wasn't paying attention to the metrics or whatever. When you have a look at that, even just look at photos of maybe how happy you look or how vibrant your skin looks or any of these pieces, it's like, oh wow, I really do see a change. But it's often easy 3 months in to just go, oh fucking nothing's changed. I haven't really gotten any better. I'm just wasting my time on this fucking gym thing, wasting my money on it. Relationships is another big one. Over a series of like a 5-year relationship, you can have lots of different stages. You can have lots of different levels. You can have lots of different challenges and ups and downs. And that's all part of it. And it's only when you commit to pushing through all those hard times that the actual progress, all the beautiful shit happens. You get to all those good times. So make the decision. Put in place those fucking metrics. Understand your why. Understand the hows. Figure out what the steps are that you're going to take to achieve that thing. Work out the timeline, what your goals are. Work out how long you're committing to doing the thing, and commit. Go the fuck all in and watch what fucking happens. It sounds a little crazy, and maybe it is, but watch what fucking happens. Thanks for tuning into today's episode. You're all lovely people, and I hope you have an epic and fired fucking day. Peace.
Better late than never. I guess it simply was meant to be. And it's clear for all to see. 1 and 1 makes 3 perfectly. Better late than never for you and me.
And that's how we do it on Broadway.